Hello, everybody, and good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Wow, so many cool people here. You know, for me, I usually spend my time in a cave with a computer and data, so I didn't even know real people existed, so this is exciting. So, I have 15 minutes, so without further ado, I wanted to tell you, writers don't run away. See, data and the arts have a history. I think if you think of people like Michelangelo or Leonardo da Vinci, you know, all these little sketches and some calculations to get the real good work of art out, you know, it's where the science meets the arts. That's what we're going to do today. And, very importantly, as we go in there, who hated his maths teacher? Okay, we stop the session then here. No, don't worry at all. It is my job to make everything palatable for you, and you're going to see it's going to be fun, it's going to be easy, and hopefully insightful. So let's jump right into it. A quick reminder for those of us who've been in this industry already for a couple of years, because sometimes it's good to remind ourselves, well, why are we here? All right, it's the book in my head, I wanted to make money, it's because I write for the passion, you name it. Well, many of us started here a couple of years ago when all these big numbers were out there, Amazon reporting in Forbes magazine, you know, more than 5 billion sales in books. By now it's 6 billion. Kindle market share, about 85% of the US market. It took Amazon only like 3 years with Kindle to overtake physical books. And you have like more than 30 million like device users out there, one click away from a purchase. So some of the people here in the room said, hey, that sounds like a big cake. Let me have a piece of that cake. Well, time has progressed. The market has become more competitive, and I do acknowledge that there are, you know, also other industry magazines and established organizations, and they put out their numbers. Now, this is not my take on some of these numbers and my own numbers, right? So the one thing we all wonder is, well, we all got into this, how does the market look these days? And this is not even my data. This is the ongoing Kindle ebook growth. Now, Kindle Select, the global fund, this year we projected to be around 268 million US dollars. That's up 20% from last year. Now, a piece of data only means something in context. What we also did, and that's in a small print you don't have to worry about, we looked at the number of books that are in KU. That is pretty constant. And are the books getting longer? No. Is Amazon throwing money at the authors? No. So it seems to be, you know, it seems to be that at least, you know, the units, the number of readers, in terms of ebooks, still going up there. There are other indicators, and this is an interesting picture we took last year, around this time. Don't worry about the details. Red is Kindle books. All the line items there are book categories. So at the very top, you have romance, the romance bestseller list. Woohoo! Well, this is not sales. No, it's close to sales. This is the, Amazon has bestseller lists, not just the ebook bestseller lists, but book bestseller lists, right? And these book bestsellers are cross-format. So this is the picture, what percentage of books are ebooks or print or audio. Red is ebooks and the blue is audiobooks, all the rest is print. This was the picture 12 months ago, and we just took the picture this month again. So if some organizations, and this is no bashing about you know, whatever trade publishers and publishing organizations, it's different numbers, but they say different things. This is the number that basically says, look, print is sort of getting squeezed, starts getting squeezed between ebook format and the growing audio side on the right-hand side. And you also see it's important in which genre you're operating. If you're in, you know, romance, do I worry about ebooks? Yeah, you should worry about ebooks. Now, whatever the case may be, you know, is it growing fast, slow? There's money out there. But we have a mountain to climb. On the left-hand side, we currently have more than 6 million Kindle titles out there because Amazon chose to act a bit like a Library of Congress. They don't, take the books away apart from certain circumstance. Anyway, sales ranks 1 to 50,000 make up about 87% of that pot of royalties that is being distributed. All the rest are pretty inactive books. Now, this conference, is about how do you climb that mountain and stay up on the mountain, have enough oxygen to breathe, and be up there and be successful. And the good news is, a lot of people in the room are already up there on top of the mountain, and I hope the conference is going to help that many more are going to climb it. Now, I have very good news for you bunch of authors and publishers. Now see, the moment you say I'm an indie author and you decide to publish your book, you're automatically also an indie publisher. And as soon as you say publisher, you are in business. And as soon as you are in business, you have to look at numbers and the market and whatnot. And the good news is, we just ran this yesterday. Actually, it is an observation over the last 3 months. We just did for this conference. It was never published before. And I call it preliminary because if I say this is the number, I'm going to get crucified in certain organizations or on social media. Anyway, indie authors rock. Why do they rock? Because you have, of that royalty pie, according to our estimates, 37% of the pie. That is more than the Big Five. That is more than the Amazon imprint. So, really good news. Now, what's the bad news? You have to work really hard. Because we also looked at, are the Kindle books fresh or vintage? Is it like really old books or new books? Now, on the very left-hand side of this, we have the time since publication, less than 1 month. Books that are not older than 1 month represent 24%, so a quarter of all those books out there, but they make 41% of the royalties. So whatever the cause and effect, is it because reader want fresh stuff or Amazon, we're also looking at this, are they, promoting fresh items? We don't know, but the fact is fresh fruit sells well. Now, if you have to write at a certain pace, then the question is, quality versus quantity. Don't wait if you have to produce these books, for the godly inspiration, because we did find the very secret formula that only non-authors like myself know, which is you have to write plenty of good books and market them well. It took me 4 years to find it out. In fact, the top 50 indie authors, each of them have more than 15 books up there at any point in time in the displayed results. Now, you may ask yourself, we are here in Vegas. If I write who feels like this sometimes when you write your next book, right? All right. Well, see, there are a couple of very creative things about the publishing business. The left-hand side, the author, you have the idea, you want to create the book, you write the great book. And on the very right-hand side, there's your reader, who you want to reach, and where you want to cause an effect as an artist. Unfortunately, there's a lot of mechanical gear between your good book and that reader. And the conference is going to help here with this mechanical aspects. I'm going to be focusing today and also in the breakout session on the market and genres and category stuff. Brian will have a great presentation on the AMS side. So we're going to cover all of this. I'm going to dive into the market because many of the things that you do on the very left-hand side, whether they're successful at the end of the chain, has a lot to do with the reader and whether they buy your books. Oh, what do you know? Well, there are certain genres where you have more people buying your book than others. And the differences between genres can be very staggering. So, just here as an example, if you take and measure over time the best-selling list, the highest-selling bestseller list, if you take away the umbrella bestsellers like literature and fiction, nonfiction, romance, mystery, thriller, suspense, sci-fi, and fantasy. These are big markets. Then follow teen, young adult, bit of religion and spirituality, and then it sort of tails off pretty quickly into niche markets. They're good, you can dominate them, but the bulk of the money is in those top 3 genres. And you also have to know what not to do. Because on the tail end, if people tell you, hey, come join, become an indie author, upload your grandmother's cookbook with the recipes, and you're going to drive a Ferrari, show the person this data. Don't do it. It won't work. It won't work. There's many good nonfiction genres, but not that one. So the good news is for you, first of all, you are leading already the game on the Kindle platform. And it's the biggest ebook platform in the world, and I believe it's going to stay that way for a time to come. And there are opportunities about. So if you take all these little stars here, and I think there are 200 billion of these in the Milky Way, we don't have that many categories on Kindle. But think of it this way. There are opportunities abound. Think each and every star is a little category, a little genre. Can be a big one or a small one, right? Can be many readers out there buying the books, or it can be very few readers out there buying the books, or it can be a very crowded genre because half of the room is serving that genre, or it can be very, very tiny because only those 4 people in front here write books in that very genre. So you see, I come from the business side of things, and I look at things a bit in terms of economics, supply and demand. And unfortunately, for artists, the book market is like any other market, supply and demand. So what we're going to cover in the breakout is the galaxy. Because you as artists and people who create, you have infinite possibilities of creation. And these infinite possibilities also exist in a very mechanical way. All these little dots here are little stars in the galaxy, little genres. And some of these genres, the further you go onto the right from your end on this chart, the more crowded the genre gets. The further you go to this side, the less competition you have. So the smaller the genre. The higher up you go, green, high sales. The lower you go, not so good. So you want to be in places, we call them hot cells or hot niches, where you don't have so much competition. So immediately you see the complete health of a genre, such as, take romance. Romance, the biggest market. And I know many of you write in it. It's very crowded. But the experts among you will know it is quite a difference whether you just very generically address the paranormal romance market, just say, I write paranormal romance, versus, is it something more niche? Is it about ghosts, angels, demons? What's trending up? The vampires? It changes over time. The reverse harems, you name it. So clean and wholesome romance, also very high sales, little smaller, all the way down to, let's get more into age groups, teen, young, adult, romance, science fiction, and dystopian. So you see, you can look at the Kindle markets like this galaxy, and some stars are a little brighter, other stars are a little more obscure, and some have a good atmosphere, others don't have such a good atmosphere. So also sci-fi and fantasy. Take, for example, Craig's story, and a couple of other people in the room who serve the military sci-fi genre, right? It's getting a little bit more crowded. It moved from, having less than 10,000 titles in it, more towards the right into the mainstream. And on the other end of the spectrum, well, if you say, but I do want to write literature and fiction, literary criticism, subjects and themes, science fiction and fantasy, be my guest. But the average sales rank across the top 20 titles of this category is less than 100,000, and you won't sell a lot of books. You get the idea. Now, this is very powerful, and we're going to talk about this the next 45 minutes in the breakout session in Red Rock, where you can follow me to. And we're going to have a lot of fun. You see, it can be fun, data. Now, I'm going to look at some very secret niches, And I'm going to predict the next big trend we're going to see in 2019. So here you have it. Congratulations to your new bestseller. So, my time is up here on stage for this part of the very quick overview. Who wants to join me and geek out in genres and markets, you're welcome to join me. Otherwise, make sure you write your next Amos cyberpunk novel before Craig finishes this one. It's going to be big. And so I look forward to joining you guys in genres, trends, and some pressing questions hopefully get answered. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks very much, Alex. I appreciate it. What a great overview. We should have given you more time in the main one. If you come back and join us in 2019, you'll have all your time right on this stage.
No worries. I'll grab this one.